Take a moment to kind of stretch a little bit and get started. Warm enough now. We've got over 25 people online and over 25 people here. So we've got a good 50 people in our Sangha tonight. That's great to know. And I'm Clyde, one of the 6 Dharma leaders, and there are 6 Dharma leaders in the Sangha. It's just if you've been coming recently, things have worked out that I've been up here. But you will keep coming. You'll meet the other Dharma leaders eventually. So with that being said, I'm going to sip of water. And if my voice holds up again, which I hope it does. You come in here, or you're at home, and you want to meditate, and you come in, you set your intention, you get your place set up and everything, and you sit down, and you're going your breath in and out, your breath is going in and out, and you hear a sound, a thought arises, and it takes off. And the mind wants to go. And whether you have been meditating for 30 minutes is the most you've ever meditated in your life, or you meditate for 30 years, you will have hindrances in your meditation. So tonight we're going to talk about what these hindrances are and how we work with them. And so I know this is kind of the meditation 101, but like I said, I have a lot of these hindrances happen to me, and I've been meditating for 30 years. And so they will occur, they happen. So it's always good to know them and to work, because you'll be working with them throughout your practice. The Buddha calls these obstacles. He says there are 5 obstacles, hindrances that overwhelm awareness and weaken discernment. Which 5? Sensual desire, sloth and torpor, ill will, restlessness and worry, and doubt are obstacles or hindrances that overwhelm awareness and weaken discernment. He goes on to describe these in this sutta. He says, suppose there was a river flowing down from a mountain, going far, its current swift, carrying everything with it. A man would open channels leading away from it on both sides, so that the current in the middle of the river would be dispersed, diffused, dissipated. It wouldn't go far. Its current wouldn't be swift, and it wouldn't carry everything in its way. And so the same way, if we have these hindrances, our practice is not going to be swift and go. And then he goes on, later on in the sutta, he says, suppose there's the same river, it's going down the hill, and he blocks up these channels. He says that the current in the middle of the river would be undispersed, undiffused, dissipated. It would go far, its current swift, carrying everything with it. So that's what we want to work toward. That's what hindrances do. They disperse our attention, our focus. So these are the 5 hindrances in this tradition. And let's look at each one of them. What are they? There's desire. And it's usually desire for sense experience. Our mind keeps getting drawn back to the sense world. And the sense world is taste, touch, sight, hearing, and mind, and smelling. Yes. Sounds interest us, colors distract us, fascinating ideas may come up that we want to explore. We focus on people we know, the pleasures we seek, our plans for the future, and so on. So there may be a fantasy that comes up. We start thinking about that, or planning what we're going to be doing. All this has to do with desire, wanting something more. It has to do with longing. It could be a sensual desire. It's attached to do with attachment and clinging. So that's desire. The second one, ill will, aversion, hatred. We are irritated by something or someone and can't let it go. A sound is irritating, or a person angers us, and we cannot let go of these negative thoughts. This is another important point about these hindrances. The hindrances are internal. They're not out there. This person, you may be sitting here real quiet, and the person across the thing sneezes or coughs. And that sound comes into you. And this ill will comes. Why didn't that person take care of that? Why don't they do this? Why don't they do this? They think that they're going to give everybody in here a call. That's ill will has arisen. Anger has arisen. That came from within you. It did not come from that person. It came from all the hindrances are from within you. And that's good because that means that you can manage them. You can work with them. Sounds come in, sensations, thoughts. Some other things that has to do with this is irritation, annoyance, anger, animosity, aversion. These are all forms of ill will. The third one is sloth and torpor. Sloth is like a sinking or a dullness of the mind. It's hard to get interest in things, make it focused on anything. Torpor is that drooping, the nodding, the sleepiness. You probably experienced that about 10 minutes ago. You've been around, the day comes in, you sit down, you start to breathe, your mind starts to get a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're like, this is so comfortable, okay. The mind can't focus on the breath, and you may be leaning over a little bit, so that is sloth and torpor. I mean, that's what we're getting settled, we do that. And that's simply this lack of energy. That's just lack of energy and lack of focus. Restlessness and worry. Our mind is occupied by things we ought to be doing or would rather be doing. We have pressing concerns, real or imagined, that keep us from concentrating. We feel physically restless and want to fidget or move about. So restlessness and worry can be either mental, your mind could be going all over the place, or it could be a body thing. You just can't get settled. The body won't settle down. It's restlessness. It can be irritating. It's a type of energy. It may come from, there may be some anxiety there may be some remorse there. You may be nervous, regret. All those things can play into this I'm just in an agitated state right now, either physically or mentally. And then the last one is doubt. We have doubts about the meditation. Is this kind of practice a good one? Can it actually do anything for me? Could I do the practice anyway? We get questions that we say, well, this is what's going on here? Why am I sitting here like this with all these people and we're quiet and my mind's doing this? And I really can't do this. Everybody else is quiet and my mind is not quiet. And I'm not good at this. So doubt arises. What is this anyway? What are we doing here? What am I doing here? And it could lead to indecision. Maybe I won't practice. Okay, I won't do that this week. So doubt can arise during our meditation. So we have these 5 hindrances. There's desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, and doubt. The Buddha also describes these, there's a nice metaphor for these. It's like a pond of water that's really clear and it's really still. And he says that when there is desire, it's like looking into a pond that has been dyed. We are predisposed to see unrealistically. It's like seeing with rose-colored glasses. When ill will is there, as if the pond water is boiling, so there can't be any reflection. Sloth and torpor are like having thick algae growing across the pond. You can't have any reflection except by the difficult work of pulling out the algae. Restlessness and worry is like the wind turning up the pond surface. The wind is blowing and turning it up so you can't get a reflection out of that. And doubt is like the water filled with mud. It's just unclear. So those are some metaphors for the 5 different hindrances. So we've got them. We all have them. Some of us have one a lot. You may have one particular one that comes up a lot for you, and that's typically what happens. Mine is anger, aversion. But how do we work with these? How do we work with these in our meditation? First thing I'm going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to look at each one, and I'm going to go this kind of briefly, quickly, because we're going to say this is the hindrance, and this is what we call the antidote to this one. What's the antidote? What do we do when that arises? So when desire arises, the antidote for that is called renunciation. But it's really like letting go. It's you think about the impermanence of things. Everything's impermanent. That car you want's impermanent. That house you want's impermanent. That job you want's going to be impermanent. That person you want is impermanent. If you think that really they think about thinking about the decay of the body. If it's a sensual lust that you're dealing with and desire, think about the decay about someone. Think about that person when they're 85 years old. You still want them? Okay. That helps me to let go of this lust, let go of this desire. So you focus on this impermanence, because if it's impermanent, it cannot have lasting happiness. It's not going to get your lasting happiness. The other thing that you can do with desire is reflect on generosity. And the idea of being generous, what you give away, what you've done. If I'm generous, that means there's no lack here. There's no wanting. There's nothing to need for. I have everything. I don't need anything. I can give things away. So I can be generous. So you can flip. But the big one there is reflecting on impermanence and renunciation. The second one, ill will. This one is, or version is, the antidote is loving kindness or metta. And that's if ill will arises, that person coughed and messed up my meditation. So I'm going to sit there. I'm all right. Instead of doing that, I can say, it's loving kindness. May that person be safe. May that person be healthy. May that person be happy. So instead of getting caught up in what's wrong, so I can send metta or loving kindness to that person. The other thing that I do with anger, and this is, I don't know if anybody do this, I have to focus sometimes on what am I holding on to? And that could, usually it's a view. I'm angry at this person because they don't see the things the way they should see them, because this is the way I think they should be done. So I have to look at what view am I holding on to? What am I holding on to, saying this is the way it should be? And this person wants to see it a different way. So if I can let go of my view, or okay, well, that's my view, then it's not, I don't have to be angry at this person. I'm the one that's got too strong of view. I'm clinging to a view. And that helps dissipate my anger. But for ill will, loving kindness or metta, sending loving kindness, because you can't have both exist at the same time. You can't be angry at someone and send loving kindness to them. The third one is sloth and torpor. This one's pretty easy. If you're in here and you're meditating, you can just open your eyes. This is one time where you can breathe deep. You could take 3 or 4 breaths, deep breaths to breathe in and breathe out to kind of energize yourself. You can stand up. It's perfectly okay to stand up, because you can stand up and just meditate standing up. If it's really bad, and here it'd be hard to do, but you can focus on, this is what sleepiness is like. Get curious about it. If you're at home, you may want to go get some water. And if you're really tired, just go take a nap. Or if you're getting ready to do meditation at home, you may want to do your walking meditation before you do your sitting meditation, or you may just want to do a walking meditation. So there's different ways you can work with sloth and torpor. The other one, then someone said, you can pull on your ears, it's supposed to get you energy. Try it. I don't know. The fourth one is restlessness and worry. This one's harder to work with sometimes. There's an energy there. So there's restlessness and worry. It's either your body or mind. There's an energy there. And what you want to do is you want to kind of harness that energy. You want to kind of calm it down. You could do things like a body scan. Take a moment and do a scan of your body to kind of calm you down. You could ground yourself like into your feet or your hands, someplace neutral, and just say, I want to focus on that to kind of calm. You want to think calming thoughts. You want to try to start to calm down. You can send sometimes when that gets, if I'm really, I'll send metta to myself sometimes to help to calm myself down. May I be saved. Maybe it kind of helps calm me down, gets me centered. Think of your good qualities. I do this, I've done this, I've done that. That helps kind of calm. We want to calm this down. And then doubt. First thing I want to say about doubt, it's okay to doubt. Doubt in this tradition is welcomed almost. As Buddha says, don't believe what I say. You got to experience this for yourself. So doubt will arise. And doubt arises for me. I've been doing this for 25 years. Doubt arises sometimes. So it's okay. The way I work with this though is if you're sitting in meditation, doubt arises, it's hard to do a whole lot about it. But I can say this, doubt is just a thought. Oh, doubt is just a thought. And so I call it out. I say, oh, that's thought, that's doubt. That's just doubt. That's just a thought. I can let that go. And that's the best, that works for me. Oh, that's just a thought. Now, but I don't forget about it. What I do, you can do other things like, focus. If you're sitting there, well, I want to practice. I could do some phrases or something, but I just kind of say, that's a thought, it's doubt. I'm going to come back to it. When I get off the cushion, that's when I can ask questions, read books, podcast, listen to Dharma talks, talk to a teacher, the Sangha, come to the Sangha, explore it, get curious about it and find out what is this doubt and what can I do how can I work with it? What can I find out? How can I find the answers I'm looking for? So with doubt is something that you can have to kind of work on once you kind of get off the cushion to work with. So those are the individual way we work with this. So, but we want to work it. If any hindrance, and this is probably the crux of the talk, is any hindrance that you have, and you will have them. Don't go looking for them; they'll come to you. Here's some things you need to do with the hindrances. First of all, mindful. You got to be mindful of it. You got to, desire has arisen, or I'm sleepy, or there's doubt. You just need to be aware. Be mindful. We don't resist it or try to push it away or judge it. Oh, ill will is here. Okay, it's here. It's here. So I've seen it. I've done it. I can name it. That's desire. That's doubt. Just like I said earlier, doubt. This is restless. I'm really restless today. The body's restless today. Restlessness is here. So I'm naming it. And when you name something, it really takes the power away from it a lot. You name it. You can, how does the hindrance feel in the body? Be curious about it. Some of the things that really work with this one sometimes with sleepiness, you can say, okay, what does sleepiness feel like? And when I'm looking at what does sleepiness feel like versus I'm sleepy is different. And I get curious, oh, is that? I'm nodding off, I'm doing this. Okay, once I get curious about it, it kind of wakes me up. Sometimes you may see, well, restlessness, desire. You may think, well, you might have been leaning forward a little bit. If it's aversion or will, you might have been leaning back a little bit. So where does it feel like in the body? And be curious about it. What's it like? The other next thing you can do, and once you've gotten to that point, if it doesn't go away, you can apply one of the antidotes for it. Okay, here's ill will. Let me send loving kindness to her for whatever is causing that ill will. So I'm implementing I've made it kind of my object of meditation almost, and I've implemented the antidote for it. And hopefully if we do all that, we'll see it go away, because all of them are impermanent. They're all conditioned. It comes up based on condition. It's going to go away based on condition. It is impermanent. No matter how long you want to hold on to it, it's going to go away. It's impermanent. And that's important to notice also. If it's there, it's when you want to know the absence of it. It's no longer there. That's important to notice that that that's impermanent. It's arisen, it's come up, it's been here, now it's gone away. And noticing that. So those are the things you want to do with any hindrance that you work with, as you work with these. The Buddha said that he gave some examples of if you can work with this and get rid of all of them, you will probably be enlightened if you do that, because they don't arise within arhats. But he gave some description. He says, the sensation of desire is like being freed from a debt. The sensation of ill will is as if you're recovering from a serious illness. The sensation of sloth and torpor is as if you were set free from a prison. To stop restlessness and worry is like being freed from slavery. Stopping doubt is as if you successfully crossed a dangerous desert. So maybe I'll get there, but that's what we're working toward. And Jack Kornfield says this about working with the hindrances. The practice of developing patience and compassion with the hindrances and blockages means allowing them to arise and observing them with mindful, loving awareness. Give them space to open and show themselves fully. Let them tell their limited story without being afraid of them. Hold them in a field of compassion. We can use them as an opportunity to learn directly about anger, fear, and desire. We can be steady and even gracious as they come and go. We can learn how to relate to them without being so identified, without resisting, without being caught up in them. This is really a valuable practice. Thank you for your attention.